conservative in America, and I'm watching CNN. That's what I hear for 15 minutes, is it's great, and then Lonely Scott. It does look like tokenism. It's kind of like the same as The View. It's like it's almost better to have nobody there.
Bill Maher's latest exchange on Real Time was nothing short of a masterclass in cutting through media spin. Sitting across from CNN's Kaitlan Collins, he didn't hold back, turning what began as a routine discussion into a sharp critique of journalistic bias. Collins, appearing as a guest, confidently defended CNN's commitment to fairness, portraying the network as a balanced platform where voices from all sides could be heard. She pointed to her own show as an example, highlighting its history of featuring lawmakers from across the political spectrum. On the surface, her argument sounded compelling, but Maher wasn't buying it. As the conversation deepened, cracks began to show in Collins' defense. Maher zeroed in on CNN's panel compositions, particularly during key political events. He pointed to a specific instance, a panel discussing Kamala Harris's rally, where a single conservative voice found itself outnumbered by multiple liberal commentators. The result? A lopsided discussion that, in Maher's view, undercut CNN's claims of true balance. Collins attempted to counter, arguing that the panel's composition simply reflected the nature of the event. But Maher wasn't convinced. He pushed back, questioning whether true journalistic integrity meant reflecting the political environment or ensuring that all perspectives had an equal platform. The debate soon widened to a broader issue, media bias, particularly during the 2020 election. Maher raised concerns about how mainstream outlets handled coverage, subtly shaping narratives that reinforced existing political divides rather than challenging them. The exchange was more than just a fiery back and forth. It was a reflection of a much larger conversation about media credibility in an era where trust in journalism is at an all-time low. Maher's ability to dissect these issues in real time made for an eye-opening moment, one that left audiences questioning just how neutral the news they consume really is.
And CNN, in my view, should be the place where both sides can watch. They're not only politicized, a lot of people just hate the other side. And I'm a big rooter for CNN in that arena of like, this is a terribly divided country.
Ma didn't hold back in highlighting the stark contrast between how media outlets, including CNN, covered Donald Trump versus Joe Biden. While Trump's every flaw was dissected endlessly, Biden's missteps were often downplayed or ignored. This discrepancy, Ma argued, severely undermined the credibility of networks that claim to provide fair and balanced journalism. Collins attempted to push back, citing CNN's inclusion of conservative voices as proof of its commitment to balanced coverage. She pointed to appearances by prominent Republicans as evidence. However, Ma wasn't convinced. He challenged the depth and sincerity of this inclusion, arguing that occasional guest spots by conservatives didn't equate to real balance. According to him, true fairness required panels and discussions where diverse perspectives weren't just present but given equal weight. One of the most contentious moments in their exchange came when Ma brought up the media's handling of the Hunter Biden laptop story. He argued that outlets like CNN deliberately avoided covering the story before the election to prevent it from benefiting Trump. Collins immediately denied any intentional suppression, but the controversy underscored a bigger issue: how selective reporting can create the perception of bias, even if the intent is neutrality. To reinforce her defense, Collins shared personal anecdotes, including how her own conservative family members watched CNN, suggesting that the network appealed to a broad audience. Ma was quick to dismiss this as irrelevant, pointing out that individual experiences don't address the larger issue of how the network is perceived across the political spectrum. The conversation then shifted to a CNN panel discussion during a rally for Kamala Harris, an example Ma saw as emblematic of the network's struggles with impartiality. He noted how CNN often featured multiple liberal voices against a lone conservative, creating an environment where opposition was easily drowned out. Collins defended the network's approach, but Ma remained firm. True balance isn't just about token representation, it's about fostering real debate and challenging dominant narratives. As the discussion progressed, Ma made it clear that his criticism extended beyond CNN to the broader issue of media bias. In an increasingly polarized climate, he argued, news organizations have a duty to ensure fair and even-handed reporting. When they fail to do so, they risk losing credibility and further deepening public mistrust. By the end of the exchange, Collins' defense of CNN had noticeably weakened. Her reliance on surface-level examples and personal stories did little to counter Ma's well-structured critiques. In the end, the debate underscored an ongoing challenge for the media. Can they truly offer balanced reporting, or are they too entrenched in their own narratives to recognize the bias within? politics.
Conservative in America, and I'm watching CNN. That's what I hear for 15 minutes, is it's great, and then Lonely Scott. It does look like tokenism. It's kind of like the same as The View. It's like it's almost better to have nobody there. They buried the Hunter Biden story before the election. We can't risk having the election thrown to Trump. We'll tell them after the election.
By the time the debate wrapped up, it was clear Ma had thoroughly dismantled her argument, casting serious doubt on her claims of impartiality. The exchange shed light on the ongoing struggle media outlets face in preserving credibility in an increasingly polarized world. Ma's sharp critiques struck a chord with viewers who have grown wary of media neutrality, especially when coverage patterns suggest otherwise. More than just a heated debate, this interaction highlighted the critical need to hold media organizations accountable for their role in shaping public opinion. For many, it was a wake-up call, a stark reminder that true balanced journalism isn't just about featuring different perspectives. It's about ensuring that all voices get a fair and equal platform. When one narrative consistently dominates, the core purpose of journalism, to foster understanding and dialogue, is compromised. What made Ma's approach so compelling was his ability to mix sharp analysis with humor and unfiltered honesty. He didn't just call out Collins, he built a powerful case for why fairness in media isn't just an ideal, but a necessity. His message was clear: audiences deserve better, and they should demand more from the news sources they trust. As the discussion wrapped up, Ma's takedown didn't just challenge Collins's claims, it ignited a much larger debate about the role of media in a divided society. His critique of CNN's political coverage wasn't just an opinion, it was a call to action for both journalists and viewers to strive for higher standards. Impartiality isn't just a talking point, it's a responsibility, one that requires constant vigilance and self-reflection. For those who tuned in, the debate left a lasting impact. It was a moment that underscored just how high the stakes are in the fight for credible journalism. If media outlets want to rebuild trust, they must rise above the very divisions they often amplify. But this conversation is far from over. The challenges facing modern journalism remain, and the demand for accountability has never been greater. There's plenty more to uncover as we continue dissecting the critical conversations shaping our world. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.